This is Radio Nepal. I am Dela Prasai with the news. The headlines first. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda says the government will remain focused to formulate policy program and budget for coming fiscal year. Supreme Court seeks a written reply from defendant in case relating Attorney General's decision not to forward case in alleged misuse of passport by Swatantra Party Chair Rabi Lammichhane. World project Nepal's economic growth to be 4.1% for 2023. And UN chief condemns Taliban ban on its Afghan female staff working for the organization. Now the news in detail. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda says the government will get a complete ship within a few days. Addressing a program in Kathmandu yesterday, Prime Minister Dahal said the government's entire focus would be centered on formulating policy program and budget for the new fiscal year from now. The Prime Minister stressed the need for bringing concrete plans in a bid to have quality impact on the country's economy. The CPN Maoist Centre has decided to stand for identity in relation to naming the Koshi province. A meeting of the office bearers of the party held at Paris Standa yesterday accepted weakness while naming the province. The meeting also decided to demand the government declare the deceased during recent protests a martyr and provide relief to the family of the victim. Likewise, the meeting further agreed to urge the government to address the problems of the victims of loan sharking. Representatives of Nepal's two major development partners, Asian Development Bank, ADB, and the World Bank, have called on Finance Minister Dr. Prakash Charan Mahath and discussed relevant affairs. The World Bank delegation met with Minister Dr. Mahath on Tuesday and the ADB team yesterday. During the meetings, the development partners urged the minister to take initiatives for the effective implementation of various projects and programs funded in Nepal by them. Following a discussion with ADB Country Director for Nepal, Arnold Koshwa, Minister Dr. Mahath said Nepal's development partners are excited for the invest in Nepal, and the concern was that the funds could not be spent on time. The Supreme Court has issued a so-called notice after hearing on the writ filed against the Attorney General's decision not to forward case against Rashtriya Swatantra Party Chair Rabi Lammichhane on alleged misuse of passport. The single bench of Justice Hari Bhuyal has sought a written reply from the defendant of the case, the Office of the Attorney General said. The writ was filed against the decision of the Attorney General Dr. Dinmani Pokhrel that no case would be forwarded against Rabi Lammichhane in the alleged misuse of passport. The Ministry of Home Affairs has issued directives for initiating action against the private vehicles carrying passengers taking fare from them. The ministry issued this directive through a circular to all the district administration offices yesterday. Before this, the Federation of Nepali National Transport Entrepreneurs had urged the ministry to take action against the private vehicles carrying passengers charging them fare they had themselves determined. The Federation on Tuesday urged the ministry to issue directives to the bodies concerned to take action against such vehicles, citing that they were freely carrying passengers throughout the country for fare which was determined individually. The new variant of coronavirus Omicron XBB 1.16, which has been detected for the first time in Nepal, is reported to be more infectious. Acting Director of Epidemiology and Communicable Disease Control Division, Dr. Hemanta Oza, said the new variant is comparatively less lethal and more contagious. He added the new variant could cause more problems to the chronically ill, people with low immunity to fight disease, and the elderly. As a result, the doctors have urged the people to remain cautious as the latest variant spreads quickly. Among those infected with the new variant, 4 people have been hospitalized so far, of which 3 have returned home and 1 is undergoing treatment, said Dr. Manisha Rawal, Director of Sukaras Tropical and Communicable Diseases Hospital. People carrying the new variant Omicron XBB 1.16 are found to suffer from symptoms such as runny nose, fever, sore throat, abdominal pain, and loss of appetite. U.S. Ambassador to Nepal Dean Richard Thompson paid a courtesy call on Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Home Affairs Narayan Kaji Shrestha. Press coordinator of DPM Shrestha Kamal Giri said in a meeting held at the Home Ministry yesterday that the duo discussed various matters relating to Nepal-U.S. bilateral relations and the exchange of cooperation. On the occasion, the minister said the government wants to complete the remaining tasks of the peace process as per the spirit of the Comprehensive Peace Accord. In response, Ambassador Thompson said the U.S. wanted to see completion of the remaining tasks of the peace process in Nepal and pledged the U.S. help for this. U.S. Ambassador to Nepal Dean Richard Thompson paid a courtesy call on Finance Minister Dr. Prakash Sharan Mahat. During the meeting held at the Finance Ministry yesterday, matters relating to various aspects of bilateral relations and further widening the scope of cooperation between the two countries were discussed. Minister for Communication and Information Technology Rekha Sharma has urged the film producers to remain focused on producing films that spread the country's identity in the world. Addressing a program organized by the Nepal Film Producers Association in Kathmandu yesterday, Minister Sharma stressed place to work on policy-level intervention to facilitate quality film production. The House of Representatives has formed a 21-member Parliamentary Business Advisory Committee following the endorsement of the new parliamentary regulations. The committee includes the House Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Law Ministers, and Member of Parliaments of various parties, including the Independent Member of Parliaments. A meeting of the House Speaker, Devraj Khimiri, Deputy Speaker Indira Rana and lawmakers decided to form the Business Advisory Committee. You're listening to Radio Nepal 8 AM English News Bulletin. Time for a short break now.
ए छोरा, के छ हाल खबर? पढाइ कस्तो चल्दैछ?
सबै राम्रै चल्दैछ। अनि त्यहाँ के छ बुवा?
यहाँ पनि सबै राम्रो छ। ला, तेरो आमासँग कुरा गर।
पर्दैन, किन धेरै पैसा खर्च गर्नुहुन्छ?
किन टेन्सन लिन्छस् बाबु? हामी जस्ताको लागि एनटीसी को कल इन्डिया प्याक छदैछ नि। इन्डिया कल गर्न त कस्तो सस्तो पो छ त त्यसमा।
ल, त्यसो भए ढुक्कले कुरा गरौँ न त।
सेवा सुचारू गर्नका लागि *1415# डायल गर्नुहोस्।
नेपाल टेलिकम, राष्ट्रको सञ्चार।
Welcome back. After the short break, we continue with the rest of the updates. Finance Secretary Toyam Raya and World Bank Country Director Farid Hadar jointly released the Nepal Development Update April 2023 in Kathmandu yesterday. The report has projected Nepal's economic growth rate to remain at 4.1% in 2023. The projection is less than the 1% made by the World Bank last October. October. Similarly, showing the reason for better tourism in 2024, the economic growth rate has been projected to 4.9%. The report further stated that inflation will be recorded up to 8.9% in South Asia in 2023. You're listening to Radio Nepal 8 AM English News Bulletin. We continue with the international updates now. The United Nations head has strongly condemned a Taliban ban on Afghan women working for the organization. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres demanded Afghanistan's rulers immediately revoke the order, saying it was discriminatory and breached international human rights law. Female staff were essential for UN operations in the country, he said. The Taliban have increasingly restricted women's freedoms since seizing power in 2021. There was no immediate word from their government on why the order had been issued. Foreign female UN workers are exempt. The UN has been working to bring humanitarian aid to 23 million people in Afghanistan, which is reeling from a severe economic and humanitarian crisis. Female workers play a vital role in on-the-ground aid operations, particularly in identifying other women in need. A large tornado has brought damage and destruction to the U.S. state of Missouri, killing at least 5 people and injuring others as the region prepares for the possibility of further storms. According to Al Jazeera, the storm touched down in Bollinger County in the early morning hours on Wednesday. Officials said search and rescue was continuing following a significant tornado that left down trees and destroyed homes in its path. Now the general weather forecast for the country for today. Forecasting division says the weather is likely to be partly cloudy in the hilly areas of the country. Kathmandu's weather report now, maximum temperature of 27.5 degrees Celsius and minimum temperature of 10 degrees Celsius. With this news, we have come to the end of this bulletin, but before we wrap up the headlines once again. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda says the government will remain focused to formulate policy program and budget for coming fiscal year. Supreme Court seeks written reply from defendant in case relating Attorney General's decision not to forward case in alleged misuse of passport by Swatantra Party Chair Rabi Lamichhane. World Project Nepal's economic growth to be 4.1% for 2023. And UN chief condemns Taliban ban on its Afghan female staff working for the organization. Well, that's all that we have for this edition. Our next English news edition is at 2 in the afternoon. You can also listen to us online at our website www.radionepal.gov.nb for more news and online programs. Stay tuned, stay safe, and have a good day.